Not far from uptown Charlotte is a unique place to find some of the city's most interesting people.
I call it, it's God's outside library.
That place is the historic Elmwood Cemetery.
Where people learn from what people do. There's not one story the same for anybody in this cemetery because everybody's different.
Established in 1853, this cemetery transformed more into a public space than a resting one.
That was designed from the French. The park-like feeling was basically there was no park and rec back in the day. So people would come out here with their blankets and they would lay down in here and have a picnic. They would hang out, tell stories about their loved ones.
But if you journey far enough, you'll discover another cemetery further in the back.
That estate is the good one.
Charlotte's black citizens weren't buried at Elmwood, but instead the historic Pinewood Cemetery, also established in 1853.
It's an honor. It's an honor for me to tell history about it.
For 10 years, Bill Bibby has served as the city sexton, looking after and learning the history of both cemeteries, which are owned and operated by the city of Charlotte.
A lot of African Americans didn't have the money to buy a headset.
Which is why at first glance, Pinewood might not look as full, but Bibby says there's nearly 12,000 African Americans buried on these grounds.
You know, they're doing genealogy. We'll flag a grave for that person, and we'll find the person in here, and we'll put a flag in it with their name on it.
Slaves, veterans, educators, pastors, and even prominent businessmen all lay rest at Pinewood.
If you look at the MIC building, you'll see this design at the top.
Two mausoleums can also be found at Pinewood, designed by W.W. Smith, a successful black architect whose work can still be found in Uptown to this day.
I like to show the different size of the fence.
For over 100 years, a fence divided Pinewood from Elmwood until 1969, when Charlotte's first black city council member since the 1890s, Fred Alexander, worked to desegregate the cemeteries.
It was a big movement for African Americans to be equal, and it was a big step of taking those barriers down.
While there's still so much to learn about the historic Pinewood Cemetery, Bibby says it's his job to make sure this cemetery is preserved.
They used pipe for their columns and stuff like that.
And these stories are told so that others can continue learning about one of God's many outside libraries.